Former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown just went off on the team for tarnishing his legacy. Also, he talks about the Cameron Heyward situation and gives some inside knowledge on the topic. So, as we all know, Antonio Brown's relationship with the Pittsburgh Steelers did not really end so well in his last few years with the team. So, he did not get his jersey retired by the team, or in which the Pittsburgh Steelers usually do it, they just don't hand out the jersey number. But Antonio Brown, his jersey number was given away multiple times since he's left. And now Cordero Patterson will be wearing it this season. So Antonio Brown, he went on a podcast and kind of went off on the Steelers for tarnishing his legacy in that regard. And he also gave some insight on the Cameron Heyward contract situation in terms of how the Steelers usually handle older players on the roster. But before I get more into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for more Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like the video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, here's Antonio Brown's comments on the topic. Here's a quote. "They ain't really got the respect from me that I think, or the respect that you think you earned. That could be trauma in itself, to just know like, darn, I gave my life to the Steelers, and these guys don't even give a about my body of work. They will just give a random guy who scored kick returns, who never even got 1,000 yards as a receiver ever in his career, my number. A guy that was number 1 in history." End quote. So, this is not the only time Antonio Brown took action or spoke out on the matter, because back when it first happened on social media, on X, he actually went live to talk about it and talk about the Steelers in general, and he basically said that this organization is supposed to be ran as a family, but it seems as though it's being run more like a business, and they're just disrespecting their players. So that's what he had to say on the topic earlier in the offseason. But enough on this from Antonio Brown. Let's just dig right into it. You look at Antonio Brown, and he left the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And it wasn't really on a good note. He left the team, basically demanded a trade, ended up getting traded to the Raiders, and then had a falling out with them, and then moved on to New England, then moved on to Buccaneers. So really, since he left the Steelers, he just hasn't really had a successful career in terms of the numbers that he used to put up, other than winning that Super Bowl with Tom Brady in Tampa. But then he ended up running off the field in Tampa. So we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers tenure though. He had one of the best careers in NFL history at the wide receiver position. And some may even say he's a top 5, top 10 receiver of all time. So how would the Pittsburgh Steelers just give away his number like that? You would think if he is one of the best receivers in NFL history, he put together a great 6-year stretch plus with the team, putting up like over 1,400 yards every season, over 10 plus touchdowns multiple times, and you would think that he would earn that respect, but again, his jersey retired. Well, the Steelers, they don't really retire jerseys like that. They, more often than not, just won't hand out a jersey than just straight retiring the jersey number. For example, there's many jerseys like number 1 that just won't give out, and they probably won't give out number 7 as well. It's not officially retired. They probably won't give out many other jerseys as well that just aren't officially retired yet, but they just won't hand them out. So with Antonio Brown though, it's a different case. They have given it out multiple times. They literally give it out in practice to OTA members, new players that just joined the team, training camp guys. They've given it out in years past. So the Steelers giving it out to Cordero Patterson now isn't surprising, because if they could give out the number 84 jersey number in practice to players that just newly signed, then why wouldn't they give it away to Cordero Patterson? And that's what they did. They did give away the number 84 to Cordero Patterson, who just signed this offseason, who spent his career as a kick returner and as a wide receiver, as a running back in multiple positions. He's one of the best kick returners in NFL history, if not the best. So it's not like they're giving away the jersey number to just nobody. They are giving away to someone with a legacy as the best kick returner in NFL history based off stats, based off the most touchdowns in history. So at the same time though, it is Antonio Brown and it is the Pittsburgh Steelers tenure. And you have to look at it like that. He may be the best Pittsburgh Steeler to ever play with the team. And they're just giving away that jersey number. So Brown played 12 seasons with the Steelers and he recorded 928 catches for 12,291 yards and scored 88 touchdowns, along with 187 punt returns for 1,761 yards. And he participated in 7 Pro Bowls. So you would think that those numbers would mean something and the Pittsburgh Steelers would honor that number because of how great he was for the team and what he did for the team. But no, they gave away the jersey number. And in my view of it, if the time with Antonio Brown and the Steelers ended off on the right foot and did not end off on Antonio Brown basically giving up on the team and basically asking for a trade out of Pittsburgh because of his contract, because of his attitude and everything like that. If it ended on a good note and not a bad note, I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers not giving away that jersey number and kind of retiring it, but not officially retiring it. But because it did not end on that good note, it turned into a business decision. Just like Antonio Brown's decision to leave the team was a business decision. So that's what it turned into, and that's why the Pittsburgh Steelers probably gave away the number. Because if Antonio Brown can make the business decision to leave the team based off more money, then why can't the Steelers make a business decision on giving away that number? It goes both ways, and that's probably the reason why his jersey has been given away multiple times, and he just now is going off on the Steelers, basically thinking that they're tarnishing his legacy, disrespecting his players, their players, but in reality, it goes both ways. So with that being said, that's Antonio Brown's thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about this topic. Should they be giving away that number 84 based off how the time ended, or should they not be giving away based off his stats and everything that he's done for the team? Me personally, I would like to see it be retired, but they've given it away. Anyway, let's move on to the second topic of this video, which is still the topic surrounding Antonio Brown, but this time him talking about kind of the players and how they treat the older guys, and him talking about Cameron Heyward and how he's seen this situation happen before. Here's his thoughts on the matter. Cameron Heyward is finally feeling the energy from when you're an older player with the Steelers. That's the thing about being a player with a team for so long. Your life, your family is indebted to them. But then you realize it's a business. They don't have no need for you no more. It's like you're breaking up with your wife after 10 years. Yeah, they did it to Larry Foote, Troy Polamalu, a lot of ex-Steelers players. Man, great players. That's why my last year in 2018, I was like, I gotta leave the Steelers. You gotta think the Steelers just got rid of the receiver that they just paid. And they always spend that players to play for the worst team in the world. Or send the players to play for the worst team in the world. Obviously, he's talking about Deontay Johnson in this situation. So, end quote. So you look at this topic, and he's basically saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers, once you get old, they just get rid of you. And they've done it in the past. We've seen Troy Polamalu. He was a great player. One of the best Pittsburgh Steelers in NFL history, if not the best. So you look at him, and if they could get rid of him and make him retire and not end on a good note, then they could do it to anyone. And he feels as though now Cameron Heyward has seen that as well, and they're doing it to him now that he's been injured multiple times and he's just not the same player that he used to be. And he's talking about Deontay Johnson in this situation too, and how when they send away the receivers or send away players and trade them away, they just send them to the worst team. And that's basically saying Deontay Johnson, now he's on the worst team in the Carolina Panthers. So that makes sense in that sense there. But you look at this topic, and it's true. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they have done this to multiple players. When you get older, it's not like they're indebted to a player just because of what they've done for them. At the end of the day, it's a business, and we have to look at it like that. And Tony Brown is right. The Steelers have handled it like a business before, but in some times, like the Ben Roethlisberger situation, they have handled it a little bit better. They gave him that extra year. He did have to take a little bit of pay cut, but he did come back multiple times when we knew that he wasn't as good as he used to be. So it worked both ways with the Steelers. They've done it both ways. And in this sense, Cameron Heyward, I don't believe he'll end terribly, but it might not end the way that Cameron Heyward wants it to end. And at the end of the day, it's a business on both sides. If Cameron Heyward has to leave the team to play with another team, so be it. But if the Steelers could keep him, then so be it. At the end of the day, Antonio Brown is right on this topic here. So let me know your thoughts on the comments below about this topic as well. I want Tony Brown talking about how the Steelers handle older players and how they basically just give you away and they don't treat them well. I believe they treat them well, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. And also like this video and comment down below as well. I cover everything Pittsburgh Steelers. I've covered all this offseason. I'll continue covering all this offseason and the regular season. So until the next video, I'm out. Peace.